Kahalo Yahweh Bashem Yavashai Bashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of Well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters students, wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. Um, this is just going to be, really about walking in faith and the chariots. I pulled a couple of scriptures up. All right, and just as the deliverance from Egypt was by chariot, will be the same way out of this new one. I got a TikTok here, or really the one that inspired me. I'll play that second. But this one, I can't really confirm. I waited a couple days. This came out maybe I think a week ago, but I can't confirm if it's actually in Guatemala or if it's in Mexico. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's a, or even if it's real, if they got this footage from a movie, who knows? But at the same time, there is so much evidence on the pyramids being in Central and South America, and so many of the artifacts with the Paleo Hebrew on it found right here in the U.S. With all of that information, I would want to lean on the side that this is true, but still, I'm looking at still trying to track down and do my due diligence. Okay, but regardless, your faith should stand that deliverance will come by way of the chariots. Okay, Yahweh Shai on the chariot, and as it is written in the book of Second Esdras, where it is engraven like a mountain, and Esdras couldn't see the beginning or the ending of it. Okay, so I'll let this play, and then the second one, the video that inspired me, we'll play that as well, half of that, and then we'll get some scriptures, and that'll be it.
In this site, it gives the history of humanity, and it shows that we have what they call sky cousins, that are human-like beings that have coexisted with us on Earth forever. And they said in it that the time will soon come that we will join forces as one, and as it changes the course of humanity.
Right. The initial video said some of the inscriptions was like an old Egypt or a reformed, quote unquote, Egyptian hieroglyphs, right? And of course, our people were there, so it would only go to show, especially, it would only be right. Gosh, I can't get my words out. That there would be some influence, okay, going both ways. Us influencing them influencing us, being able to see things. I'm pretty sure that they saw the chariots as we were safe in Goshen, all right, and the Lord brought plagues on Egypt. I'm pretty sure that there are things there that they could write about, right? Put on their rock diary, and not only that, but of course, our people, the Northern Kingdom, went after the Assyrian captivity and over here to the Americas. Fast forwarding, a couple hundred, maybe even a couple centuries fast forward after, the captivity of Egypt. You had the four major ones listed in Daniel 7. All right, Assyrian, Babylonian, the Persian, the Greek, and then the Roman captivity. And we are in the second part, the second leg of Rome 2.0 here. So a lot of history, a lot of things mixed in together, carried by the tribes all over as we are scattered throughout the four corners. So it's not unlikely. Now,
Humanity forever. As I
again, I don't know if it's Guatemala or not, right? Or if it's in Mexico.
What if the devil
back then? So what were those individual men in those vehicles in these paintings? Those were the angels in the chariots, what the prophet Elisha called, the salvation of Israel, the chariots of Israel, and the horsemen thereof, because they understood about the chariots. That's why in slavery Jake sung the song, "Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home." I looked over the river Jordan, and what did I see? But a band of angels come carry me. So pretty much what's that? They understood that those so-called UFOs were the angels, and that's the way we're going to be saved, because that's the way that the Israelites were saved out of Egypt.
Exactly, and that joining together was for a specific people, right? so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. So right here, I have, we don't need the top part, but if you want to look into those subjects and those books, you're more than welcome. Take the screenshot. And let me see, where do we want to start? So we got the deliverance by chariot here. There's a couple things that I do want to go into. But let me get Leviticus 26 and 40 through 45 here. Because I mentioned the scattering, and just as we were in our captivity, the story is the same. We are continuously in the land of captivity, and then we are delivered. And this will be the final one here that we are looking at. So let's go 40. Dang, this is a heavy one if I got it all. Oh, I think this is going into the curses. That's right. Okay. All right. So, and this is also a sentiment that we should be in. All right. Not only should you walk in faith, but you should walk in with humility. So let's go ahead and get into it. 41 through 45. All right. And that I also have walked contrary. Actually, 40. I'm sorry. If they shall confess their iniquities of their fathers. Let me get there. If they shall confess the iniquities of their fathers with the trespass which they have trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary to me, which we have, okay? And that I also have walked contrary unto them, right? You do this, I do that. If you do that, I do this. The Lord was very cut and dry, and very plain, and very concise. Often repeating things many times. When he read that covenant, okay. And I brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then I will remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham. You see how it goes all the way down? All right, not the world, but right there, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, who is the progenitor of the 12 tribes by way of their fathers. And I will remember them, and I will remember the land. The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because even because they despised my judgment, and because their souls abhorred my statutes. And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am Yahweh their power. All right? And that is the thing we are in now. There's always a remnant. Always. There's always a remnant. And call Halal Yahweh Bashim Yahshai for it. Okay? Deuteronomy 29 and 1 through 6, we'll get that. Okay, these are the words of the covenant which Yahweh commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab. Okay, besides the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. All right, so Moses has called into remembrance them the deliverance right here. Okay, and the point here is in 5 and 6, which is the power of just a small example of the power of the Lord. Okay, and Moses called unto all Israel and said unto them, Ye have seen all the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt unto Pharaoh and unto all his servants and unto his land, which we are going to re-witness again in a truly bigger and more spectacular fashion right here in Babylon the Great. The great temptations which thine eyes have seen, and the signs thou are those great miracles. Yet Yahweh hath not given you an heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear unto this day. Right? Deaf, dumb, and blind to this, which is like 2/3 of our people are. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes are not waxing old upon you, and thy shoes is not waxing old upon thy feet. Ye have not eaten bread, neither have ye drank wine or strong drink, that ye might know that I am the Lord your power. Great miracles done, especially for those who are ungrateful. So how much more great the miracles will be for the remnant who are grateful. The Lord has put the Spirit on us and the eyes to see and the ears to hear. The great and wonderful things that were done in our past are going to be even more great and even more wonderful here and now. And that's just something that you have to believe, right? Whether you've ever seen a chariot in real life, whether you have, had many vivid dreams. I don't get a lot of them, but, for some of us, we don't see anything. We're just going to have to recall all the times that the Lord has brought us through. You know, on a on a carnal level, I guess. Or whatever you went through, and you didn't think you were gonna make it through, and somehow, some way, the Lord made a way for you. Okay, whatever that situation may be, and I say all that, I sum all that up with this simple thing, or this simple phrase, this simple verse in the scripture, roughly paraphrased. My grace is sufficient, and that just may have to be your walk. You may not get encouraging things that happen. You may not get dreams of chariots. You may not see a chariot. You may not, undergo some profound spiritual thing, while you sleep. You just may have to lean on the grace, because His grace is sufficient. And if that ain't enough for you, I don't know what to tell you. You better pray about it. Okay. Thirdly, we read through the chariot. Okay. And now I just want to get Exodus 23 through 22. All right, and then 13 and 21. We'll start with 13. Because my name is in him. That is Yahweh Shai that was there. All right. Talking about the deliverance out of Egypt. Okay. 13 and 21. All right. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud, which is the chariot, okay, by day, or nor the pillar of the fire by night from before the people. And that, the Lord being the guide, okay. And those chariots, it talks about, okay, let me not get ahead of myself here. 23 and 20. 23, straight to the point here. And 20, behold, I send an angel before thee, keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place where I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice, provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice, and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries. For mine angel shall go before thee, and bring thee into the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. Okay, and that was then. Right now, we are just looking, all right, to be kept and covered. And, a little spiritual power here, there, whatever it is, but, symbolically, we will be in Goshen, safe, while the plagues strike this place, while the plagues strike everyone else. All right, that's what we want. That is what the faith and humility will get you. All right, walking with the Lord and trusting in the Lord in these times to come. Damn it, I don't need that. Now, 2 Kings 2, verse 12, when it talks about Elijah being called up. Okay, it says, let's just go. You go to your blue letter, and the word for chariot, okay, Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more, and he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces. And when you go to that word in verse 12 in your blue letter, chariot is rakab, okay? And if you go to the root words, it talks about like to mount or to ride, and also of upper and lower millstone. So I went to chat or Grokinator here and asked about the basic biblical context, or the general meaning and function of a lower and upper millstone. Okay, what's on here? Upper for bread making. A dude on a sport bike with no helmet on. You asking for death? Anyway, alright, and you see those circular, those millstones, right? The great millstone, which is spiritual. How the name, how the name of the camp came, man. All right, circular. When it talks about mounting, and then it goes into upper and lower millstone here. Okay, so general meaning, Function. Millstone consists of lower millstone, a heavy stationary stone, flat or slightly concave, on which grain was placed. Upper millstone is a smaller, movable stone rotated by hand to crush the grain, okay, producing flour. Biblical context. You can read that there. Let's see. Do not take pair of millstone, even the upper one, as security for debt, right? Because people made their money by grounding flour, okay? You didn't take that. You didn't take their means of making money in order to pay you back. All right, significance. Millstones were more than tools. They symbolized sustenance, labor, life itself. Their protection in law and used in narratives underscore their centrality in ancient Israelite society. Cultural significance. Daily life, grinding grain. Okay. Significance of a thriving community. All right, so when it talks about this place and the grinding shall cease, all right, that meaning no work. Let's see. Economic. You can screenshot these. I'm not going to read all of them. There's just certain points that I wanted to get, and I wanted to show you the picture of the millstone. Okay, reflects on Yahweh's concern for the vulnerable, and we are vulnerable here, right? So this all hinges on that Strong's definition of chariot, when it talks about to mount, and then it says of millstones, like showing the circular motion in that, or the circular design. Well, all the chariots, some of them are quote unquote cigar shaped, but I guess the general consensus, or the general, the mass production line of chariots are circular, right? I guess if that's what you want to call it. Okay. Symbolic provision. Yep. The protection, judgment, imaginary or imagery. Millstones' weight made it a metaphor for judgment. All right, and these millstones do bring judgment. These chariots are going to bring the Lord's judgment, right? All of this ties together, man. Alright, ancient near millstones were simple but robust tools. Alright, hard stone. Circular or rectangular, flat or slightly concave to hold grain. You see? And now what we have, more of the Latin style, like how I like to grind. I buy peppercorns and I grind them myself, or I make a paste with a garlic. I use a molcajete, or a pestle and mortar from volcanic rock, a legitimate pestle and mortar set. Okay, known properly as molcajete. So you get the gist here. All right, and you can go and look up that Ezekiel 1:16, where he sees the chariot and it's a wheel within a wheel. So all of this, man, it just lines up, and I love the way the scriptures line up so beautifully, how they paint metaphors. If you were given the spirit to see, if you were given the eyes to see, ears to hear, it is a beautiful thing. And call Hallelujah, Yahweh for deliverance that is soon to come. So with that being said, I just want to drop something on you real quick. Go look those definitions up. Alright, it will show you upper and lower millstone in 2 Kings 2. Alright, so